Today on Gamers Couch,
Fresco, the big box edition.
Hello!
Hello!
Welcome to the couch.
I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, who is sitting right here, and today we talk about Fresco.
And his name is Daniel, and my name is Sarah.
I almost got it right, because each week we sit on this couch talking about our favorite games and gaming moments that we had in probably the past week, maybe last 2 weeks, but we won't tell you, we just tell you what we think about games.
But with this game it was way longer. We played it in
Indeed.
December,
Indeed.
January, February, March.
And we just managed to see everything. It is called Big Box for a reason.
Yes. So, welcome to the B Couch. Again, we liked it way better with editing, so we are...
B Couch is now becoming A Couch.
Yes, it does. Which does not mean that you can still interrupt my intros.
It could also happen that I'm sitting on the new B Couch or the former A Couch next time, and Sarah is sitting here. The question is where the camera will be pointing.
We got a fisheye camera. We can try to have us both in there.
In case you didn't notice, the other couch is like there.
There, to the left. Oh, God. Ooh. Anyway, we're talking about that game starting with rules and gameplay. That's the artist behind the artist. What did you say on the couch? Whatever. That's his part to explain. Then we talk about what we liked or not liked and finish up with funny stories and experiences. So, sweetheart, I lean back, drink coffee, and you do the... Is there an English word for Erklärbär? Which is your German lesson of the day.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah? What is it?
Smartass?
No, that's a different German word. Explain to us how the game is played.
Explain bear. Plein air bear.
The plein air bear. Oh, God.
Winner of such illustrious prizes as the German Spielepreis in 2010, Fresco is probably the biggest box, big box. Well, a Hambra is also as big from Queen Games. Let's get started. Fresco is an elaborate 50,000 piece jigsaw puzzle that comes with this box and challenges you to try to sort everything into this box and being able to find it again at some point in the future. The trick about this is that there's no kind of tip for you where to put stuff, but there's a place for everything, which makes this quite challenging. Fortunately for you, if jigsaw puzzles are not your thing, this box also comes with a little worker placement action selection game that uses this tiny board, and believe me, it is tiny. You know why it is tiny? Because that is only half the board. This is like the base game board. It doesn't. There's still expansion stuff coming. Keep you posted. So, what we have here, we are actually people who try to restore the fresco in the center of the game. For that, we have our little, craft workers working for us. We can send them, first of all, we have to annoy them a little bit because we have to select when we want to get up. The earlier you get up, the higher the chances are that you're going to get the good stuff. You will be the first in this on this turn. Unfortunately, your workers are not as happy about you as you are getting up at 5, so morale will go down. Also, prices at the market will be higher because there's not a lot of reason why they should be higher, but they will inevitably go lower at the latest, maybe because they're selling out whatever is left over. But still, economics. You can send them to the market to pick up colors, and these colors will be drawn each turn from this specific bag. There's only one bag in the world. No, there's more. So you draw these little blocks of cardboard here, place them on these markets, and if you go shopping, you have to select one, and then you may buy one or more colors that are offered per market, but preventing other players from picking that up. And as you see, it's a worker placement action selection game, because you will kind of draw the ire of other players by taking away the opportunities they want to take. If you get up early enough and your people start hating you. You can send your workers to paint pictures for other people and gain some money through that, although that seems to be off the books, so maybe making a little job on the side. And obviously you can try to restore the fresco, which is at the beginning of the game covered by those tiles. So even though it looks pretty cool, you can't see it at the beginning because these are on here. And as you might have guessed already, the colors on these tiles show you which colors you need to restore that part of the fresco. And the number gives you the number of victory points you get for those. And last but not least, you can send your workers to mix colors and create new colors, as well as send them to the theater. Why would you send them to the theater? Well, grumpy workers will be really grumpy workers if their morale goes down here, because you will lose a worker, because people in town know that you're kind of a
nasty boss.
I wanted to say ass, but
same thing.
You're kind of not that great boss to do that. And on the contrary, if you are a great boss and send them to the theater more often and increase morale, you will actually get one neutral worker in extra for you, because people thought, hey, this dude is cool, we all want to work for him. So you have a good way of getting new people in here. At the beginning of the turn, after you've filled up the marketplace and decided when everybody gets up in the morning and when your selection will be, you will program all those actions that I just mentioned, going to the marketplace, going to restore the fresco, painting pictures, mixing colors, or sending someone to the theater by placing your 5 workers on this board. To make things a little bit more interesting, you actually do that behind this screen. Again, only this one. Well, no, not quite. Everybody has one. So you have your little tiny screen. Everybody programs the actions on this, and then you will reveal in a. If you see us talk about Roll for the Galaxy in a way where you can do a double reveal, because you actually have 2 screens. You have a big one and a small one. Although the big one will only be revealed at the end of the game. So after you programmed all your dudes in here, you go from station to station, pretty much following the order that is going on here. And then whoever got up first is the first to take the action. So if Sarah got up first, which is
pretty unlikely,
highly unlikely, and she would have placed, let's say, 2 or 3 workers down here, she would first of all get to decide which market stand to go to for shopping, and then buy one color thingy that is on that. And I think I only showed you the color thingies that had one color on them, but some of them have multiple colors. So for each worker she has on here, she can buy one of these color arrangements that are out on the thing. And sometimes you have just base colors, like red, yellow, and blue, or you can buy kind of some premixed colors like this green here, and there's also a purple and an orange that you can get. So might be worth getting up early to get those, well, let's say high quality paints to do that. After she has done that, all remaining colors from that stand will be removed, so the first player kind of removes that entire stand from the entire game. And you go through each of those phases. Again, first player goes first. The money I mentioned on the wake-up track also determines how much each color or each color tile costs. So if she got up at 5, she would have to pay 4 coins for each color, which is quite expensive if you consider that if you get up at 8, you only buy or pay 1 coin for each of these colors. The game just progresses from turn to turn. You will always refresh the market. You will start uncovering the fresco. For each piece that you restore, you get actually this tile, turn it over, and then you will get a free coin each turn because the church is actually quite happy with how you proceed. And one thing you also can do to increase your points, in addition to the ones that you get from the tile themselves, the cardinal, bishop, priest, whoever, the guy in charge,
the church dude,
actually it doesn't matter. The customer, he's paying the bills. He'll start out in the center of this board, and you can pay a coin to move him one space to either side. If he happens to stand on a tile of the fresco that you just restored, you get 3 extra points. Or if he's at least in the vicinity, so on a tile next to it, you at least get 2 points. So it's worth moving him around. After you have completed a fresco, regardless if you moved him beforehand or not, he will move to that empty space because he has to inspect what the hell you were doing there, which leads you to interesting combos if you plan that out correctly. So if you restore multiple fresco pieces, you might want to have him around and move him or restore them in a certain order to get everything going. Now, if this seemed rather simple to you, I forgot one important thing. Those big screens also have another neat little thing. If color theory has been a little bit off for you in the last years, here's your handy little guide how to mix colors. So if you use your mix a color action, that's this one, this actually allows you to mix 2 colors. So you can mix a yellow and a red for an orange, or a blue and a red for a purple, or something else. But you don't have to mix 2, you can just mix 1 if you wanted to. And you usually have to do that to get those mixed colors, because most of the color tiles in the market are just the base colors. So that's pretty much it for actions. Now, that seemed rather simple to you, right? It's a fairly easy game. You just go, keep on doing that, and actually the game ends once the fresco is restored enough. So if there are only 6 or less tiles left on the fresco, you initiate the last turn. For the last turn, you will take your action card, turn it around, and the 2 indicates last turn for some reason, and it has just a little bit of different actions on here. So you get the chance to restore the fresco 2 times. You don't get to send people to the theater anymore because job's over. That should be enough to make them happy. And then you are done and count your points, which you actually keep track of during the game on the outer side of the board. The reason you have a big screen to hide some other stuff, this is mostly to hide what colors you have and how much money you have, because at the end of the game you will count your coins and get a couple of points for them, but usually not enough to affect the entire game as a whole. So this is a game where you usually know who's in the lead and who's behind, and there's not much of a, hey, here's a big surprise victory point condition in here. At least for what I just explained to you, because this is just the base game. Now, the big box is called big box for a reason here, because this tiny manual will also explain, in addition to the base game to you, the 10 expansion modules that come with this, and I won't. I will just briefly go over them and give you an idea what they do and what they change. None of them are required. They're all optional. You can mix and match them. Some of them are smaller expansions. Some of them are actually pretty substantial expansions that almost, I don't want to say change the flow of the game, but may introduce something like a timer and add another end game condition to that. Some give you the opportunity to gain victory points in other ways than just restoring the fresco. And they all come with little boards, or most of them come with little boards. So when I said, and I'm sorry for going all hair in you, but the tiles are here. When I said the board is a little bit small, that is because there are more boards in here, and they don't end. Boards, millions of boards. They even then when I throw one onto the floor, there's still boards. No, actually, I didn't throw one onto the floor. To be fair, the big box thing has some stuff in here that is actually not a board per se, but allows you to store things here in a way where you would just put the money onto the base game. So usually the game tells you to put the bank from the money onto these tiles, and to put your color cubes, which I actually didn't show you yet. So there's these wooden color cubes in here for our base colors, then our mixed colors. Actually, those two are from an expansion. So these are the colors that you collect or you grab from the market once you get them, and put them behind your screen. You would put those into this workshop area, but the expansion also comes with this handy little tile that has some like coloring pots, where you can put the cubes into these pots. If you're just playing the base game, you play with these 6, the 3 base colors plus 3 mixed colors. If you add in that expansion that introduces brown and pink, I think it is, you get those 2 extra things. So this is just a nice thing to have to clean up the board, or if you have to use those spaces for something else. Same here for the money bank. So the color and the money tiles are kind of, you could say they have a function, but there's not a real gameplay element happening on that. On the contrary to these other tiles, like there's another painting here on the side that you can restore. So this is almost identical to how the big main fresco works, but you're going to use, if I can find them. Oh, that's the wrong one. I remember when I said 50 million pieces. It's 50 quadrillion billion pieces. Are you the one that I want? I think.
Yeah.
No. Yes. So you have these small tiles that go on here that you can also spend to restore them. Those only give you 4 victory points, but will reward you with additional colors each turn, and so on and so on. You get a little fountain where you can drop in coins to get event cards that give you special abilities. You can restore glass windows. So if you take a look at our fresco, please unfold the fresco.
The whole?
Yeah, I think there's little side pieces in here that you can fill with window pieces. So you have to go out and grab glass. And of course, the game comes with glass beads that you can collect. It's a very similar thing where you also have to collect different colors to restore those little things that go in here. And I'm getting drowned by tiles. So you have these little windows on here. You can buy them and then place them in there, but you need the glass beads to actually build them and gain additional victory points. There's a number on here, so it usually means it's worth victory points, unless it's money. So the 10 modules that are in here are, and I'll just kind of read them off here and try to explain to give you an idea what it is. The first module is called the portraits, which adds actually specific new cards into the portrait action, where you would usually just get 3 coins. Now you have 2 cards out here for your selection, or 3 cards if you're playing with 4 players. And whenever you paint a portrait, you pick one card that gives you a special action. That can be something as simple as you get another color, or it could be something which is actually pretty powerful that allows you to move around the church boss dude and to any space without paying or skipping over spaces and so on. Then there's the the Cardinals requests, not the Colonist Bequest, which is a video game, but the Cardinals requests here, which are additional. Actually, no, you are the wrong ones. I want to find. Where did I put them? This is terrible. I'm so ill prepared. Yes, these ones here, and you have to restore specific fresco pieces for them. So whenever you restore a piece, you turn it around, and I told you this gives you money each turn. You have that in front of you, but they also come with these little color indicators, which are used by at least 2 modules. And in this case, if you have 3 of those, you can trade that in for one of this, and this gives you another 10 points. And then you turn this around, but you're now less 3 coins because you have to pay 3 for them, and now you only get 1 coin, but you get I'm sorry for showing you the middle finger, but you only get 1 coin. But in addition to that, you also get a purple color each turn. Then there's new colors. As I said, there's these pink and brown cubes, which introduce actually new fresco pieces, which are worth more points, but require these new colors. And these new colors are actually more difficult to mix. As you can see, to get pink, you need purple and red, and to get brown, you need orange and green. So these are actually more worthwhile doing. Well, it's not more worthwhile, but more complicated to get. So makes this actually a little bit more interesting in terms of what colors are available, and makes the market interaction and color mixing part a little bit more emphasized. Then I also already showed you the fountain, and the fountain is something that introduces a new currency, these little fountain coins, which you can spend when you go to the market, put it on here, and it's another event card. So in some way it's similar to the portraits, but you don't really know what you're getting if you send someone out here, because you draw the card once you get there, in contrast to the portraits where you can see which cards are out here. But still something, it's actually a small thing, but it spices things up a little bit by giving you some special powers, so to speak. Then there's gold. No, not the one that you will be gaining for restoring the fresco, but gold that you will be using to enhance the fresco by adding some of these gold plates in addition to whatever you painted on this thing, which again increases your score, increases even the score more if a boss man is around and sees that you golded his church, bling out his church, so to speak. I don't think it's exhibit as a church dude, although that would be cool. It's like, hey man, I heard you like gold.
Welcome to my crib.
Yeah.
Opening the church doors. A lot of bling in there.
So adding more bling is pretty cool. The next module would be restoring the windows with glass. I pretty much already told you how that works. It's another resource similar to the colors that you can grab to get points. Then there's the scrolls, which is also an interesting thing, because that introduces, if I can find them, I'm so badly prepared. Yeah, this one. These scrolls are handed out secretly at the beginning of the game, and each of those indicates a row on the fresco board, kind of like calling that a puzzle now is actually going a little bit over the top there, because I already called that a puzzle. No, so this gives you a row that if you restore a piece out of that row, you can hand in that scroll and gain additional victory points for each square that has already been restored on that entire line. So if you're really good, you have 4 cleared, and clear the 5th one, and then hand in the scroll and say, yo man, no, that's the gold enhancement, so you just get victory points for that. Still cool to do that. Now let's talk about bells. The next module in our marathon of expansion modules that are in here. You know what was missing in this game? Wall Street. because economics are still a thing. So there's now a new board. Of course there's a new board, because what else
Why
would
not?
there?
Yeah.
If I can find them.
Yeah.
Yes, with this board that will host these bells, and you can actually invest money to restore the bell of the church, and the more you restore, or the more you invest here, the more victory points you get at the end of. I mean, let's face it, this is all about getting more victory points, but you can actually buy them immediately and get victory points from them here, or you can try to invest over time by only partially paying for them, but then you're kind of forced to pay them off and don't get the victory point bonus. But at the end of the game, you will count the little bells on here, and he who has the most bells gets an extra point down here and gets more victory points, so you will probably win. Maybe. Fortunately, I already told you about the side fresco, so I don't have to do that again, but that is a whole module in itself. And as I said, you just restore this similar to the fresco, you get victory points, and also get, it's almost like a combination of the base fresco and the requests of the cardinal.
Yeah, cardinal. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's actually a bishop. I'm sorry. My knowledge of church hierarchy is so terrible that I don't even know if that was an insult or if I kind of complimented him by addressing him to something.
Cardinal is higher than bishop.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's so white and not purple.
Mm-hmm.
Although he has this funky hat, so maybe, I don't know.
Bishops also do have hats.
I'm terribly sorry. I'm pretty sure I offended at least one cardinal and one bishop out there, but please don't be. It's just my ignorance. And this is about painting frescoes. In
It's about art.
Yes.
Not religion.
Yes. And last but not least, because they kind of save the full gameplay blow that they can deal to you with the most complicated expansion or module at the last, is the Medicus or Medici. I guess.
Medici was...
well, it's the family where...
Yes.
So...
She was a ruler in Italy.
The family.
The Medici at one point was a girl, and she loved panna cotta with fresh figs.
The Medici is the plural of the family name, Medicus.
That too. But there is a ruler person, she was called the Medici, and her favorite dessert was panna cotta with fresh figs. Sorry, I know that just from culinary lessons. But
so
the Medicus is the healer.
This expansion perfectly picks this up by introducing pandemic, and well, it's actually it introduces illness to your workers. Where what can happen is each turn you draw one of these round tiles, which are hopefully shuffled at random, which indicates where. For this turn, sickness will break out, and if you have a worker committed to that space, he will get sick, so you have to turn in your little worker dude for a black worker dude, and that guy is limited. He can't go to the market because he's sick.
He can't go to the theater.
He can't go to, He can, he can mix colors, because probably back then mixing colors, thinking about chemical workplace safety, that they were sick from that then, and my game boards are already escaping me again. So they're limited in what they can do, but you can heal them. But to heal them, you have to go here, so you have to go to the marketplace. And actually, what I didn't show you, because it's just because for how many things are in here. So if you want to go to the market to buy an antidote or health potion, whatever you want to call that.
Medicine, that's what it's called.
Is it? Oh, that's what they
the placebo.
Chemist?
What?
I always thought those were health potions. I was always complaining that I don't get the magic potion at the whatever.
The magic potion is called beer or wine.
I'll get back
I'll
to
get
that.
back to that. I knew it.
So now what you have to do, you cannot just send someone to the market, but you can put this thing on top of your action, and now it introduces a new action which for free lets you go to the doctor and buy one of the available drinks here, and depending on how much is in this bottle, that many people you can rescue, or you get this
Raspberry juice.
Yeah, this raspberry juice, or wine as we now call it. What does it do? Nothing. It just makes people happier. So you either send them to the theater or you have them drink raspberry juice, which I think is perfect, although it's not panna cotta juice, so I guess that doesn't count. At least this still allows you to grab one thing from the market, like one regular color. What I neglected to show you, and now I'm trying really hard not to go into every detail, but some of the actions introduce more of these. So if you want to actually invest into the bell, this is an action, and you can place it on any other action, but obviously you cannot take that action for that turn. I know this is already the next section, but if I hadn't given it away already, don't play with all 10 modules and the base game. Don't
choose.
Choose
one or two.
Choose wisely.
That too. Choose your favorite.
And
try them all.
And now I have to unbury myself from all these. This is ridiculous, but it is the big box. Yes. And just to go back to that, the base game manual is pretty much over after these couple of pages. So this is not, the base game is actually quite straightforward, and once you've played it almost, I think, immediately falls into place. Every expansion module has its own little manual page here. So this would say, number 1, the portraits. It will then tell you what is different, which is actually pretty useful, because you could just go, okay, let's set up a new game. So we want to use module 1, 3, and 7. So you go here, module 1, what does it say for a setup? Oh, this is different in setup. Then you go to 7, what is different? Setup. Oh, no, it's the same. And so on. So you just go through these individual steps, and each module will tell you exactly what it modifies, because it kind of all of these always correspond with one of the actions you can select from your board. It either replaces them or enhances them. For example, the fountain. If you go to the market, you can use the fountain in addition to that if you have those lucky coins. And not everybody else has already dumped all their coins into the fountain, because I guess that is kind of part of the anti-litter laws of 15, 16. When was this?
15
Holzschuh.
The 16th century, which is 1500 something. Back then, when Leonardo was alive.
More wood. Which brings me to our little we love to hate him, hate to love him, Leonardo. If you're just you and me, or you and me, so if you're only playing with 2 players, this game comes with a variant where you simulate a third player called Leonardo.
Da Vinci.
Nobody likes him.
Why not?
I don't. He's taking away my colors. He's taking
if he moves before you do. This is a Leonardo brush. It's so soft. Sorry, I had to do that. Look, Leonardo is painting you. I'm not Leonardo.
If you want to use Leonardo, pretty much what happens, let's say it's a reduced third player that is pretty much only concerned with closing down the market and restoring parts of the Fresco each turn. And gaining victory points for that. Control passes over between players every time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. it gets an interesting aspect. The thing I probably skipped or neglected to mention, the turn order is always decided by who is last in points. And this actually doesn't include Leonardo. So let's say it's your turn. You are actually in first place in regards to victory points. I'm in second place and Leonardo is third. But if you're the one controlling him, you still get to move him before I do, which is, I think, interesting, can be an advantage, makes the thing a little bit more thinky. That said, this game is, I say, ideally 3 or 4 players. Comes, as I said, with a variant for 2 players, and takes about 15 hours per game, whereas the game itself is, let's say, 60 minutes. Trying to figure out how to fit everything back into the box, 14 hours. Actually, let me check that. Let me fact check while I get overwhelmed by the box.
Don't throw it. Don't throw my game.
And of course it's not on this thing. It's on the other thing. It says 2 to 4 players, 60 minutes, almost as if I had read it before, which I didn't. But see how good our guesstimates on time are, because that's how long our games took.
Yeah.
It says 10 years or older, which I think is
accurate.
Pretty accurate. There's no reading going on in this game, so you might get away with playing with younger players, but understanding how to mix the colors, you probably know your kid or the kid you
play with.
You stole from someone else, so if they enjoy this or whatever you're doing. I think that's what people... No,
they don't steal people. They borrow them.
Okay.
It's called a play date.
That word dark quick. Let's go.
No, it's when you meet up with other people.
If you want to meet up with other people's children, you call that a play date?
Yeah, you bring your own kid.
Don't.
Or your husband if he's a kid inside. And then you play board games. Or video games, and then you go home.
We want to go to our next section now.
Likes and dislikes. Well, he said it before. The insert of the box is horrible. Not because it's shitty, but...
I was about to say, the insert itself is actually pretty good because everything fits in there. The challenge is...
to figure it out. And somebody very clever on Board Game Geek did, and uploaded a PDF, which helped a lot. But still, it's not...
Would have been cool if that would be part of the manual, or if the box insert itself had some kind of indicator saying, here go these tiles, this is for money. And
or if the insert would be in a way that module 1, module 2, 3, 4, but it's like mixed up all over the place, so it's not really...
The thing is the guide, that picture that we download that suggests where everything goes is all over the place. But
that's true. But no, I mean, I think it wouldn't fit any other way in the box, because the spaces that the cardboard pieces occupy now in the box are just spot on, and I think there is no way to sort the box by module. And you have to rummage, you have to search, you have to remember. And, I mean, getting the pieces out of the box to play is pretty simple. But putting them back, it's like, where was that?
Sometimes you have a hard time figuring out which part belongs to which module. Those, almost everything is different, which is something probably doesn't help you very much. What I mean by that is, if you're looking for the pieces that belong to a specific module, even though they are similar maybe to other pieces of other modules, each of them is distinct in some way or form. It has a different backside. It is maybe slightly smaller or slightly larger, although both of them just show a piece of color, for example. But if you, and that's what we maybe do, if you
are sick of remembering things and want to look up that PDF like again and again, take a white permanent marker to the box and write down module 1, module 2, module 3. There's enough plastic pieces in between so that you can note where what is in the box.
And to be fair, that's really just a minor negative for me, because
it bugs me.
This is but it's a game that is, I think, from 2010, and there's 10 expansions crammed in there, and I would assume that I'm not sure if those expansions were single released or if they were released like in packs of 3 or something like that.
I don't know.
I would imagine that there's more than one, because for example, the fountain thing seems a little bit small to be a full expansion thing. Oh, regardless, I mean, this is obviously a game that grew over time, and now someone tried to contain it
in a big box
to the best of their abilities into this hulk of a box.
Yeah, I mean,
and for that, it's fine.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a note on the rule book saying this is where everything goes.
And I think actually,
it's just the figuring out stuff that bugged me.
I think since a friend of ours also has the Alhambra big box, they learned there and added that. So I just go on a limb here and assume this is just an older design.
Yes,
where they just missed that thing and reacted to criticism from other people who came way before us.
Which would have been awesome, because this is the way to do it. Now, for the rest of the quality and artwork of the components, that's nice. There's only one thing. There's cardboard pieces, like, for example, the color pots here, that actually have 2 cardboard pieces glued together. And there you can see they're wonky.
They're warping,
Yeah, they're warping. The other ones don't.
Well, they do,
just
but it's
the glued ones. This is a glued one. No, that's not a glued one.
The other ones warp too, but obviously it's not as pronounced as.
But that's.
You can see the tension of those two
glued
things
together,
going next to each other.
But
although we had worse with other things,
yes. But these were the only 2 pieces that were wonking. All the rest is very solid. The wooden pieces are solid. The glass beads are very nicely done.
Very glassy. Solid.
Well, there's no bubbles in there. There's no no seams or something that.
I think she needs to check her glasses again.
I'm not playing with glasses.
There's little bubbles in there.
Yeah, but not like the big one with the marble, that they look more like marbles. Oh, goddamn, it's my opinion. Deal with it.
Yes,
yes. Good! You're getting there. So, the game board is very sturdy and lovely. It doesn't wonk. And all in all, it's just a very solid quality. The artwork is nice. It's nothing fancy. It tries to depict the 16th century in back then Italy, I guess, and it's fine. It does that well, but it's nothing special where you say, "Woo! This is awesome. This is the greatest thing ever." But I think it doesn't need to have that. I think the strong point for this game is the modules and just, well, the way it plays, the play experience, and not the look of it, as it is with some other games that are on the market. I also do like the variety of the modules, though some play pretty much the same. There are some that really stand out, and for me that is the bell, the glass, the medicus, and did I have another one? No, that the medicus, the bell, and words. Where did my brain go?
Let me hand you the list of modules.
What did I just said it. Maybe. The glass. Damn.
The bell,
What
the
heck?
glass, the bell, and the glass.
And the Jews. The Jews, the bell, and the glass. So they stand out for me, and these are the modules I like best in combination with the base game. I wouldn't play those three together. I would choose one, maximum two, to play of these three to play with the base game. The next one that I liked most, though it's not really a significant expansion or module, is the scrolls. I really like that because it's tiny, simple, and not a lot to it. So you could very well combine it with the bells or with the glass or with the medicus. It's just a little sum-sum. I didn't really care for the fountain. And and for the gold. I didn't really care for those modules. They're nice enough, but they're not my favorite. What did you think? Which one was your favorite?
I need the cheat sheet to just remind
The
me.
cheat sheet?
The cheat sheet.
I know.
So I just want to comment on them as I see them. To say the portraits and the wishing well fountain thing are very similar. Both introduce those special action cards. The difference there being that with the portrait, you get to choose one of two or one of three cards, and it matters if you're first or not. As for the wishing well, you really don't know what you're getting if you go there, and if someone else beats you to the place and already spends all the coins, then you kind of don't go there. You have to try next turn, but it's not an extraction. You go to the marketplace. I like the portraits a little bit better because I like to see what they can do. I like the idea of those event cards in general, so that they allow you to move the bishop in additional space or stuff like that. Actually, everything that involves that tactical movement of the bishop is I think pretty nice. So from that, both are, I think, very unintrusive. Yes, they give special actions, but it's an action you only take on your turn, and it only gives you a slight advantage. Like, here's a couple of coins extra, here's a couple of victory points extra. Nothing major. So those are certainly two that I probably wouldn't use at the same time, but are good to combine with other things. The bishop's orders are, I think, a little bit more substantial, actually. You obviously want to fulfill some of them to get those points, and I remember when we were playing for that actually that got more important than finishing the fresco, because the bonus was actually pretty good. Same thing. Although it is kind of seems unrelated, is the additional wall fresco module that brings in these other tiles that you can restore here. Simply because these also grant you additional colors for free per turn that you can just add in. So both of those felt very similar to me. Although I have to say that the wall painting really de-emphasized the market action for me in a major way. So I would probably go for the request of the bishop there. I like the idea of having these little almost achievement cards or little order cards that you try to fulfill. And they're, again, an addition. And also actually a very tactical decision, because you have to trade in your fresco pieces. Can you live without money this turn? Or, well, not this turn, but can you live with not taking 3 coins at the end of the turn, but instead you want to have 1 coin and 1 color, which might not be the color that is ultimately incredibly useful for you. Maybe there's not that many Fresco pieces up there. Maybe you want to have a lot of money to be able to buy your way out or get up early. So those are interesting decisions in there. So I like the bishop's request a little bit more. I have to say the gold thing, which just adds. Actually, I would say the gold thing and the what are they called? The scrolls are again very similar. Again, enhance the amount of points you get for restoring individual Fresco pieces by obeying certain extra rules. With the scrolls, it has to be in a specific place. With the gold, you have to pick up the gold from the marketplace first, and then make sure that the dude is actually there to see how you apply the gold, because if he doesn't see it, it's actually not really worth it. I found the gold thing a little bit too fiddly for what little it brought to the thing. Same as you, I like the scrolls very much, because they actually kind of reminded me of the Ticket to Ride.
Exactly.
This is your kind of the big plan that you have to go for.
And some the other players could restore pieces of the Fresco in your row, and you just have to
makes you less angry.
And you have to wait for the right moment to restore that one piece and get your extra victory points.
Yeah.
So it's just not just elbows, but it's fun, and I'm just going to score at 1 point, and you restore parts of the other person's Fresco, and they get extra points. It's just, I didn't like the gold module.
Which leaves us with the last two, the big ones, as I would call them. Although, to be fair, the new colors is also a big one, because it changes the board quite a lot and adds what felt to me a way more complexity with the new color combinations that are available. Just the market game really is enhanced by that. So that might actually be good things if you want to use the wall painting, maybe combine that with the new colors to kind of counter the market de-emphasization, but be prepared for a way longer game with that. Which, as I said, brings us to the last, the big ones, the bells, which I personally felt were really out of place from all the other modules. It's very different.
That's why I liked it.
What I like about it is that it gives you a different thing that you can do with your money. Otherwise, you can just spend your money on the market, and it's so tightly coupled with that. So it's a nice thing to just have another outlet to get rid of it. That said, I almost felt, unless you were going for the victory points that the bells gave you directly, it wasn't really worth going for who has the most bells. I think it's just 9 victory points if you land in first place. The second place gets
5,
7.
and the third is 2.
Yeah, but that's actually not that much, considering that a bell costs 5 coins, and for 6 coins it's already 2 victory points at the end of the game. So I'm fine with having something else to spend money on. But actually, that is something that the Medicus enhancement, which I have to probably say is the one I like best. It was unfortunate because we played that together with the wall painting and the bells. I think the Medicus expansion is the one that I would like to play again, but with some smaller other things.
Yeah, just the scrolls maybe and the Medicus.
What I really like about that is something that is actually has nothing to do with how creative you can get points, but with introducing a timer. Because if that stack of where diseases spread runs out, the game is over. Now, when we played that, coincidentally, that also was pretty much in the ballpark when the game would have ended anyway. I think we were down to 7 Fresco pieces or 6. So it would have ended the turn after that, regardless. But I think it's a nice thing for this game to have a timer component in there that at least forces you to go for some things earlier, or try to make the best out of what you have. I mean, you would do that anyway, but there's the time pressure component is interesting. Same with the the medicine giving you another way to spend money, not giving you victory points. But then again, they do, because you will pretty much have sick workers during that game.
You will at one point.
It is really difficult to avoid that, since it's kind of random. You reveal where diseases spread after you placed your workers already. And if you have workers working with someone else who is already infected, and obviously that at least you can control, you have the entire batch of workers in fact.
And you get coins, which are victory points in the end for each healthy worker in the end. So the money, it's not just investing money in something else, but managing your coins to have extra victory points in the end.
So the interesting decision there then becomes: do I want to spend money for the medicine? Do I want to buy a medicine even if I'm not sick yet, because I might be sick at the end of the next game or some time later? And with medicine, it is, well, it heals as many guys as there's doses in that bottle. If you have more, well, tough luck, but you don't want to overspend. Then again, if you have those sick dudes, first of all, they're not as useful anymore. Second of all, you don't want to combine them with your other workers unless you want them getting sick too, and maybe get your medicine out. If you even going to the medicus and getting the medicine prevents you from picking up 2 additional colors from the market, which is a huge blow. It brings tension to the game, which I find interesting. Almost all the other expansions, maybe except for even the new colors add ways to earn more victory points, because it's more difficult to get those. But, well, there's
the Fresco pieces with those colors have way more victory points.
You get rewarded for that. The only reward that the Medicus expansion gives is if you have healthy people at the end, you get coins for them. But it's ultimately, I would say this is the expansion that puts more pressure into the entire game and limits you. And for that, maybe you've seen our talk about the 6th tribe, in 5 tribes, the artisans of Nakala, where I said I like how the mountains restrict the board movement. This is what the Medicus does for me. So that is actually why I would say I like that best, and maybe then the second for me with the new colors thing. And portraits.
Did you like the glass expansion? You didn't say anything about that yet?
I think that is the same as with the gold thing. It's a little bit fiddly for me. Maybe
because it's restrictive again. Either you.
I don't mind the new resources, but what I disliked a little bit about that is that the with the new colors, that ties into the existing resources. You mix the new colors from the colors that you already have or already have to get. For the glass, that is an entirely new resource that you have to grab and stockpile. So you must make this conscious decision of, I'm going to play the glass route, which is actually a different game.
Or you won't restore any Fresco pieces that are on the outer perimeter and do have glass. All the inner parts don't have any glass. So either you say, I'm just going to go for the inner parts, or I'm just going to go for the outer parts, or have maybe 1 or 2 on the outer part. So it's kind of restrictive as well.
I have to say, I really like those glass beads from a component perspective.
They feel nice. But I really liked I think I liked the restrictive ones, because the Medicus and the glass are pretty restrictive when it comes to deciding. And the scrolls and the belts are just doing something else or grabbing something by accident and not having any too fiddly things.
Yeah, the thing you might not want to do, or I wouldn't do, is combine too many of these modules. So every module that gives you the option to replace an action with a different action, that kind of allows you to cheat out of the game a little bit, especially if you're playing with the Medicus, because we use the bell. So I place the bell, which brings me a free red dude to restore the bell. So effectively, yes, I had one less because my guy was sick, but this still allows me to use my fifth action kind of during the game. Or you have to place them before you reveal where the disease was spreading, but these locations aren't really on the disease boards, with the exception to the market. So if you're using these, your chances are pretty good sometimes, if you already knew what tiles came before, to hide the one that has the disease spreading out. And we didn't find that in the rules, but we played it with, well, it's pretty much a different location. So we pretend that everybody who's at that location is not getting sick. And especially since almost all of them, except for the wall painting one, come with 3 guys on the action anyway, so you can't have them being sick regardless. So maybe that's what I would say. If you go pick one of these, so bells, medicus, glass, or the wall painting, and combine them with some of the smaller ones, or at least the ones that are not as intrusive, like the scrolls or the
gold, the fountain,
the portraits.
The portraits, yeah. So let's rate and then talk about experiences.
I'm looking at our recording time, and we're getting really far ahead, and we have just talked about our.
We had some experiences in there as well already. So let's rate. 1, 2, 3.
Is it?
It's the.
Yeah, I'm asking because sometimes you have your head. No,
it's not an awesome. It's almost awesome. Because I don't like the whole game. I do have modules that I don't care for.
I think that's the reason for me why it gets a thumbs up. I think the closest comparison I can give to this game is like the 200 part toolbox that you can buy at a store, which comes with a tool for everything. You probably won't need to have 16 different screwdrivers. Well, it's not that there's the same equivalent in here, but this is a toolbox of a game that has I think, very solid base game.
Yes, I do love the base game.
That is enjoyable in its own right, and gives you so many options through those modules to customize it just to the point where you like it, and keep it different each time. So even if you say there's modules in there that you don't like as much,
no, I don't care for them at all.
But you wouldn't mind having them in there, right?
They could be out of the game or out of the box, and I wouldn't like it less or more.
No,
that's why it gets the slightly.
What I mean with you could play this and would still if someone else cared for one of those modules you don't care for. I
would probably not play with that module and just leave it out. In my gameplay.
Okay, yeah, but you wouldn't say, "Oh, this game is now ruined." Because
no. Then it would have gotten that kind of a thumb. But that one is. There's just 2 or 3 modules I don't care for at all.
But I think this is actually the strength of the big box by having probably something for
everybody.
And that is
if you like the base game, it's very, very likely that there is a module in there that you're gonna love.
And I understand that the big box is probably a big investment. We were actually really lucky and got it on a sale.
Don't tell the thingy, because it was my advent calendar present. I don't want to know.
That was part of it. I would have had no qualms picking this up anyway, because the reason for me to pick this up was the theme of all things, and hearing that it is decent worker placement action selection game. And
like I said, I do like some modules a lot, but there's 2 or 3 that I don't care for.
Yeah, I really like the idea of mixing the colors and acquiring them. You get into each other's ways, but it's not
enough that you are being yelled at the table.
Yeah, but on the same, I don't. This isn't as tense at the table as Five Tribes is, where you feel okay for each square that you move closer to someone else, someone's going to murder you.
Because you have the. I think that's because you have a screen. You plan your actions behind the screen, so you can't really be accused of planning your actions according to the other players' action. You just plan your thing, and if you get in the way of somebody, well, how would you know what they would plan?
And this gives you
different.
At least to me, this feels easier to, if you're in last place, to be able to change your strategy. I mean, obviously, you have to change your strategy, but it is possible, even if you're in last place, to then say, okay, I have to get some money this turn, so I send 3 guys out to gain money, so that next turn, if I'm still in last place, at least I get to decide when to get up, and you can get up early and grab those colors that you want. Obviously, the only random aspect of this game pretty much is what colors will be available at the market, but you get to see them before planning your move, so you can make the most out of it. I would say that actually the core game without any expansions is a little bit less forgiving, because the market, you are so dependent on the market and what you can restore, and those expansion modules at least would give you some way out of that and offer you additional possibilities to
catch up,
get at least some turns in to score victory points that are not related with
exactly
getting the Fresco out. So we haven't played this with 4 yet, I think.
Just 2 and 3. Let's officially say...
Didn't we play this with sticks?
No, we just played it with Tina and just the 2 of us with Leonardo. But let's officially go into the funny stories and experiences section, so that I can have my bloop bloop.
I just wanted to clarify, if you are a family and at least have some semblance of, I like colors, I like mixing colors, and I like chasing around church people and get money from them. Well,
it's a game for you.
Then this is a very, very solid recommendation to pick up it, specifically because it is so variable, and you can ease it down for someone who maybe has not the big board gaming experience. You can really pump up the complexity by just adding in more stuff. You can have this be a 60-minute game that goes over really quick, or you can put in as much stuff and not put in the medicus to have this probably go up to 2 hours. If that's what you like, it's a really good game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's never gonna get boring because of the modules. You can always change it up, which is very good for replayability. It's not gonna get boring.
I'm going to say solid quality, overwhelming quantity, and that's why it's
it
awesome
got what it
in my
got.
book.
Yeah. So let's go with the funny stories and experiences for real now. So this was my gift for the Advent calendar last year, because painter, board gamer, what better gift is there?
I thought this was I bought this for you because I know you like chasing around bishops. I didn't know that this had a painting aspect.
That's not what you said when you gave it to me. You said it's because of the painting. Yeah. So, So we played all of the modules at least once. We played it over several rounds, 2 and 3 players. I have to say, I do prefer 3 or 4 players, but I didn't find the 2-player variant awful. So there's also some tactical things that I really like, just playing the 2 of us, having kind of a sidekick with you to prevent you from doing what you want to do by just putting Leonardo in the right spot. I liked that.
I have to say, I know there's actually quite a few folks out there who really dislike having the simulated third player.
I usually do as well, but with this game, it wasn't bad.
To me, it didn't feel like there's a simulated third player, but there's this, as you said, this henchman dude that you can use to disrupt what the other player is doing. It's not so much about how many points Leonardo will have at the end of the game. It's how can you use his additional actions to screw over the other one.
And this is not with every game where you have a simulated third player. I really liked what they did with that. And I liked playing with Leonardo, though I usually don't like third simulated players that much. Yeah. But
Leonardo
it wasn't bad.
He's still a bitch, but
but he was my bitch every second turn. You know, that's the difference.
Yo, dog.
Welcome.
This is getting terrible, more terrible by the second.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I just really like that. Other than that, I did well. There's maybe less gamer aggression at the table than it is with 5 Tribes, because you plan your actions behind the screen, like I said. But there was a lot of gamer aggression at the table with this one as well, because you're stealing away the actions that somebody desperately needs to move forward. And depending on the modules that you play with, there could not be, or there could or could not be another route to get victory points.
Yeah, I apologize. This game doesn't have this much in common except for colorful wooden pieces with five tribes. But those are since we talked about 5 Tribes last time, and there's this frustration of someone took away what I wanted to do. That is actually similar with those games. I think the major difference, and obviously this isn't replicated in Fresco with 5 Tribes, is in 5 Tribes you have the feeling there's something you've seen, an opportunity to make points. And it's more about, did everybody else also see that opportunity, or am I the only one who saw that? And the frustration comes from other people saying, oh crap, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Or even worse, if it's someone's turn after you, said, man, I didn't see that. I set him up for this, and this gives him 1,000,000 points. And if I wouldn't have... here, it's more the frustration of, I really want that blue color.
That color.
And... I could strangle you, and then I have something blue at the table, but I'm not.
Yeah, but I can't play with your lips when they're blue and stuff like whatever, strangling, you know. But there is also a lot of gamer frustration at the table, depending on what modules you play with. We had rounds where there was no aggression at the table at all, but we played with modules 4 to 6 in one game, and that was really. Well, not bad, but just the combination of those modules, there was not a lot of other opportunities to get victory points other than restoring the fresco and doing the glass thingy. But if you have that combination, base game plus modules 4 to 6, there might be some aggression at the table. It was with us.
I also want to give out this free tip, hot tip for me. If you decide, and actually because I just saw that on the manual, it says Beispielaufbau für das Spiel mit allen Modulen.
German lesson number 2.
That means, directly translated, you need to buy a new table. It says, this is what it looks like if you have all the modules out on the table, and you have the base board, and then it is surrounded by all the other boards, which looks cool, but it actually requires a bit of space to do
Yes.
that. So I would call our table modestly sized.
There's space for 6 people.
There's probably more space on other religious tables with famous pictures of them, with more than 4 people sitting on them. But
It's pretty close to that.
It's getting crowded if you're playing with 4 players and everything out there.
Because aside from the game board, you also have the screens, and then you have to lay out for everybody else visible how many Fresco pieces you have that give you coins every beginning of the turn, stuff like that. So it's just very crowded at the table at one point.
Yep.
So get a huge one or play on the floor.
And now I think
we can wrap
we
up.
have restored the Fresco.
Yes. That was my tummy. I hope
time for dinner.
I hope that my doesn't pick it up.
That was my tummy. Hulk smash.
Thank
you that you joined us. Sarah is probably not able to do the lead out because she wants to bite the camera.
No, I know. Well, I'm defrosting the fish in the kitchen. I'm really looking forward to dinner, but first I want to import all of the clips and
have a load of the kitchen
done.
And here at the same time. While
yes,
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Well then.
I'm a time traveler. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And we'll see you next Sunday with a new game. Until then, do all the good YouTube stuff. And if you feel like, this is not enough board games for me, check out Draw for Initiative on Wednesday, where Tina and I do paint scenes from board games that we played.
Which one?
Bloop, bloop.
Blueprint?
No. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, bloop. I will take away these.
Cthulhu Wars.
No. Everything is round.
Everything is round.
Bloop, 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 bloop. Ow! Oh, that was my toe. Ouch. I'm getting old.
Is it a Euro game?
Yes.
Is it a game that is even more frustrating than Five Tribes, because not only are other people restricting your actions, but you yourself have to restrict your actions, and the game restricts your actions?
Yes.
Then I might know what it is. And are you a scientist?
Yes.
Are you Dustin Hoffman?
I don't know.
You haven't seen the movie or read the book?
Which one?
The Sphere.
No, I haven't. I'm only reading the good books. It was my tummy again. Oh, God.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week. On a couch. We will figure out probably this one.
Yeah. Take good care.
Goodbye.
Bye.